Hey guys, what's up? PipSnipers here, back for another update. Hope y'all are enjoying your weekend. In today's analysis, we're going to be taking a look at XRP and we're going to be exploring the bullish and the bearish scenarios. Going all the way back to April 7th, what do we see over here? Well, we see a 5-wave move to the upside in the form of a leading diagonal. Now, this is classified as a leading diagonal because the waves are overlapping here, okay? And then this would be your wave 1 or your A wave, okay? Now, if this is a wave 1, that would mean that the bottom is already in on XRP on April 7th, and we shouldn't go below this low, okay? That would mean that we're starting our impulsive move to the upside towards a new all-time high, if this is a wave 1, okay? Or this could be an A wave. If this is an A wave, that would mean that we go ahead and make a new low, and what we just witnessed all the way from April 7th to May 12th was just a simple ABC correction. So after this 5-wave move to the upside came in, right over here, we then came down for a WXY correction, right? A 3-wave move down in your W, a 3-wave move up in your X, and then a 3-wave move down within your Y wave, with the Y wave terminating at the 70.2 to 78.6% fib. You see how this Y wave bottomed out here at the 702 and 786, and then we went in for the next leg in the market. So this would be your wave 2 or your B wave. Now this move over here, so now if we are doing the bullish scenario, right, that would mean that this is your wave 1. I'll put this in blue so you guys can see. This is your wave 1. This is your wave 2. And now we're currently within our wave 3 to the upside. Okay? Within that wave 3, we've completed subwave 1 of 3. We're coming down for subwave 2 of 3. Then we're going to come up for subwave 3 of 3, 4 of 3, 5 of 3, and so forth. It would look something like this. Something like this, right? Okay. Now, in order for the bullish scenario to play out, where we're having the impulsive move to the upside, these are the levels that I would want to see hold, okay? I would want to see 2.284 hold at the 61.8% fib, 2.2387 at the 702, and 2.19 at the 78.6% fib. Now, if we start moving up from here and we don't go down anymore, this is the level that I would want to see get breached. 2.5547 and 2.5829. Once you get above these two levels, then we can say that our subwave 2 is in, our subwave 2 of 3 is in, and now we're going up for subwave 3 of 3, okay? Now, the other scenario that I wanted to point out was that this could be a ABC correction down to retap the bottom of this 160 plus day long range as support. Now, I know we said that this over here was the test of that support, but we may come down to double tap it and then grind up from there, okay? So you may have deviation below the 200-day moving average, which is this red line over here, and then pop back up above it, just like we did over here, right? How we had deviation below the 200, and then we pop back up above it. So you may see something like that if we end up losing 2.19, okay? So in order for this bullish scenario to play out, where we're just coming down for a wave C of our subwave 2 of 3 to the upside, we would need 2.19 to hold as support on the 4-hour and on the daily time frame. If we can't hold above 2.19, then it's very likely that we're coming down to backtest the bottom of this range as support before we grind our way to the upside. Now, in the case that we lose $1.99 on the daily time frame and on the 4 hour, then it's likely this is just simply an ABC correction, which would look like this. Okay, I put it in red so you guys can see. This is your ABC correction. Now, one of the members was, now how would this look like on the macro time frame? One of the members was showing this in the Discord. He was showing that it would just be a triple zigzag combo where this over here is your W, this over here is your X, this over here is your Y, this is another X, and then you come down for your Z. Okay, now to find the pivot points of your Z wave, you would just simply take a fib from the top of X to the bottom of Y and up to the top of X at $1.64. Okay, so we'd be taking a look at all of these levels here. 1.73, 1.64, 1.55, and 1.44. Okay, now remember, this scenario will come into play if we lose $1.9947 on the 4 hour or the daily time frame. Okay, so although that looks super bearish, let's first take a look at the bullish scenarios that we have in front of us, right? And that would be for us to, number one, hold above 2.2387 and 2.1943. Okay, we would need to hold above these two levels. You see where it says bulls must stay above? This is where we would need XRP to stay above in order for this bullish scenario to play out, in which we're just finishing up a subwave 2 of 3 to the upside. Okay, subwave 2 of 3. Lose $2. If you lose $2.19, then that means we're coming down to back test these range lows one more time before we grind our way up out of here. Okay, lose $1.9947, then we're doing that scenario I told you about, in which this is just simply an ABC correction. Okay, and we would be doing that triple zigzag combo right over here. Now I know it's very painful to hear something like that, to hear that the correction is not finished, but we're just exploring the different scenarios. Okay, now remember, like I said, this scenario is only valid if we lose $1.9947 on the 4 hour or the daily time frame. However, for now, these are the support levels that we have in front of us. Don't forget that XRP, when we take a look at this, we see that the MACD on the 3-day time frame is still turning up. I'll show you guys right here. Okay, 3-day MACD is currently under the 0 line, turning up. And this over here is your Wyckoff reaccumulation range, right over here. Okay, so basically what I'm showing is if we can't hold $2.19, we're just going to come down to test the bottom of this region and then grind up from there. Now I know I said that this was your test, but we may come down to double tap it. So this over here would be considered your spring, right? Your spring is considered your manipulation move or your deviation below psychological support, right? This is your psychological support over here. And XRP is no stranger to coming down to this support and bouncing off of it. So this over here is your accumulation, or I should say reaccumulation. All this price action in here, this is your reaccumulation. And then we slam down below the psychological support, have some deviation below the 200, and then pop back up. So this would be considered your spring. And if we go below $2.19, this would be your test. And then you have what's called your jump across the creek, where you're jumping across this creek over here. You see how we're creaking down? So you have your creek, your spring, your test, and then continuation. However, if we lose If we lose 1.9947 on the 4-hour or the daily, then, like I said, it's going to come down to this level right here and make a new low. This would be your W, X, Y, X, Z. So I'll make sure to keep you guys updated. If you love the content and you want to connect with me one-on-one, then click the link in the description below. This is the Discord right over here. You guys can check it out right over here. Okay, so this is the Discord here. You get all of these assets, over 350 assets you guys can take a look at. You guys can ask me any question you want, right? All of my members asking me questions, and I link them with a chart. But yeah, it's pretty cool. It's just a Discord where it's all TA. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So if you want to connect with me one-on-one, or if you want to ask me any question you want, then I'll be in the Discord. Make sure to click the link in the description below to join. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. Peace out and take it easy. I'll see you guys in the next one.